Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the TC Albion all platforms. We're coming from the Amex Stadium this afternoon for the third of four FA Cup quarter-finals. Sheffield United joined Manchester City in the hat for the last four today with a late 3-2 victory over Blackburn Rovers, which pushed a certain Burnley fan, of course. Now can Grimsby and their 4,000 travelling Harry the Addicts produce something quite out of the ordinary against the Brighton side, who have been going very well under Roberto De Zerbi, 7th in the Premier League, and have knocked out the likes of Middlesbrough and Liverpool along the way to this quarter-final. The opposite side of town, you've got Paul Hurst, who's taken Grimsby to 15th in League Two, but they've had some terrific wins, more notably than the victory at Southampton in the last round, which has got them to this stage. Packed house here at the CRX as it always is. Let's check on the two teams, starting with Brighton and Hove Albion, the overwhelming favourites to go through this afternoon under De Zerbi. Sanchez is in goal. Back four of Gross, Webster, Dunk, the captain, and Esteplan. Then it's Sully March, Caicedo, Alexis McAllister, the Argentinian World Cup winner, and Bitolo, who scored the winning goal against Liverpool in round four. On Dav and Evan Ferguson, their young lad, is our front. On the bench, Steele, Colwell, Welbeck, Sarmiento, Enzo, Yari, Van Heck, Veltman, and Buenatori. For Grimsby, they've got Max Cahoon in goal, and then it's Andy Smith, Luke Waterfall, the captain, and Niall Meyer at the back. Then it's Afiti, Green, Houlihan, and Anthony Glennon, the former Burnley player, in a three-man central midfield with Khan and Clifton, the two attacking midfielders, and Danilo Orsi up front. On the bench for the Mariners, we've got Battersby, Pearson, Emmanuel, John McAtee, brother, of course, of James McAtee, who's gone through to the semi-finals with Sheffield United. Hunt, Morris, Amos, Taylor, and Kahuri. 8 goals in all competitions for Mitoma this season. He's also got 6 assists there as we look at him. Got the winner against Liverpool in the 4th round in the last minute there. So he knows what this game, this FA Cup lark is all about. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got somebody like Harry Clifton, who's been at the club since joining in the under-10 level since 2007. So he's spent over 15 years at the club, man and boy. So he knows, again, what playing for Grimsby is all about. He's been there ever since Grimsby were in the non-leagues as well. The referee today, Jared Gillett from Liverpool, of course, of Australian origin. And already we're ready to go then. In this third of 4th FA Cup quarter-finals, of course, Manchester United and Fulham will kick off at 4:30, but it's Grimsby in the pink shirts, Brighton, of course, in their role, an unusual strip of blue and white stripes to get us underway then. A place in the semi-finals at Wembley, up for grabs. Brighton have been there, seen and done it. The 83 finalists get us away, attacking the goal away to my right-hand side. And here's Adam Webster with a first ball out to Pascal Gross. He's starting at right back today. And here's Webster again. Picks the ball up and comes inside. It's JB here, John Stuttard in the commentary box. And we're live on all TCM platforms, including GCM, TCM 2s, JB Sports, Storm FM. And we're also going to be streaming this delayed commentary on Twitch as well. So you're going to hear us on all TCR platforms. Here's Webster on the ball now, fighting Lewis Stoke. Brighton overwhelming favourites with the bookmakers. Certainly to go through here this afternoon. Assessed for one plays it into Doug. Grimsby pulling almost everybody behind the ball inside the own half of the field at the moment. It's a bit of a pedestrian start to the game. Brighton, who have beaten Middlesbrough 5-1, Liverpool 2-1, and Stoke City in the last round 1-0 away. As the ball is played in there towards Evan Ferguson, Gross is making a good run, and Gross shoots, and well held by Max Cahoon, who I get the impression may well be a very busy man this afternoon. Grimsby, of course, 15th in League Two, hoping to get enough points to just keep themselves away from trouble at the bottom of that division. Well, they found it tough in the last round against Southampton, but came back and benefited from a couple of good pieces of VAR work to go through. A couple of penalties got them through against Southampton. And they'll have to use some luck like that against Brighton, that's for sure today, because Brighton are a team in form as the ball is up towards the left-hand side, looking for Evan Ferguson, but the ball will come straight to Max Cahoon again. Crocombe again. It's Crocombe. I'm just being told in my headphones. Waterfall has been there, seen it, done it before with Lincoln City in 2017. Was part of that Lincoln side that got to the quarterfinals and were beaten 6-0 against Arsenal. Looked out the likes of Ipswich, Brighton, and Burnley along the way. Which, when I mentioned that run, actually brings a bit of horror coming back to my flashing over me as a Burnley fan. But it's Brighton on the attack now. It should be red-hot favourites against Grimsby Town, but they were saying with Southampton. They said that in the last round when Southampton were hosting them, but it's a totally different kettle of fish as far as Southampton is concerned, because let's face it, in the last Southampton are fighting relegation and are struggling at the wrong end of the Premier League. Brighton are challenging for European football, and Roberto De Zerbi, by choosing this team this afternoon, is wagering that this is a good opportunity for his side to go there and get to Wembley in a semi-final. And if they were to get somebody like Sheffield United, then they would think they would give themselves every opportunity to do so. But Grimsby will be thinking exactly the same thing. A Wembley appearance as a fourth-tier side, let's face it, would not go amiss at all. 3 minutes 25 gone. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Grimsby 0 in the third of the four FA Cup quarterfinals, already through Manchester City and Sheffield United. Ball played out towards number 11 here, Khan. Otis Khan trying to keep it in play, but it's come away again. And here's Lewis Dunk again. Again, pedestrian sort of football at the start of this game. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult for Grimsby to play what they would play the game as they like to play. If it had been up at Blundell Park, it could have been a totally different kettle of fish, that's for sure, because Grimsby are a very good side at home. Have won their last two. As Mikaya Atifi keeps that in on the near side, does really well. But at the moment, Grimsby can't get out their own half at the moment. Brighton have certainly got them pinned back at the moment. But here's a chance now for Otis Khan to break number 11. Brings the ball forward. Now then, real opportunity for Atifi to come forward again. Gets a first time crossing, but Lewis Dunk comes in and covers well from that crossing from Atifi from the right-hand side. Now he has a chance for Undab to play it through, and he's looking for his strike partner, Evan Ferguson. But that's going to run straight to Max Crocombe, and he'll take that quite confidently there. Grimsby beat Plymouth in the opening round of 5-1 at Blundell Park. Then they went away to Cambridge, won 2-1. Burton Albion were the next on their hit list, 1-0 winners. Then Luton Town, after a 2-0 draw, beat them at Blundell Park in a replay, 3-0. And of course, at St Mary's in the last round, they beat Brighton's neighbours by 2-1. 5 minutes gone. On all TCL platforms, it's delayed commentary on this afternoon's FA Cup quarter-final, the third out of the fourth. Fulham and Manchester United still to play. Here's Solly March, near side, twists and turns his man. He's got 3 or 4 in the penalty area. Ball played in. Still might break here for Brighton. Webster has it now on this right-hand side. Here's March. Very tricky little wing. He's had a good season personally from a Brighton point of view. Marsh uses his man. Now Gross lays the ball into the penalty area. And the shot comes in. The goalkeeper can only palm it, and it's going to break. Throw him down to chap in on the second attempt. And Grimsby have made the worst possible start, but it has been coming right from the word go for Brighton. Shot came in from Salcedo. He hit it left-footed. The goalkeeper could only parry. And Roberto De Souza, who's not on the touchline, he's serving the touchline ban. Well, he'll be pleased at the start his Seagulls side have made at the moment. 6 minutes gone on the TCM. It's Seagulls 1, Haddocks 0. And Grimsby have got it all to do now if they're going to even get within a flicker of getting back into this FA Cup game. It's got to be finished today. Obviously, this is the replay against Salcedo's shot. It's a good effort. The goalkeeper could have held it or tried to push it to the side, which would have given one of his defenders a chance to clear it. But really, Dennis Undav didn't even celebrate when he scored. It was almost an apologetic excuse of a celebration, really, but it's a good finish. As I say, a terrific effort. I think I might be doing the goalkeeper a little bit of a disservice there. It's a very difficult shot to hold on to, especially when it was struck with that sort of, velocity, I suppose. So Grimsby 1-0 down. Undav after 6 minutes, and the ball chipped forward, and he's onside again. Undav. He could be in again, but out comes the goalkeeper, Crocombe, who does really well this time in the all yellows jersey. Of course, I'll just tell you the 2 assists. The other also scored in that 5-1 victory over Middlesbrough. Alexis McAllister got a couple, if memory serves me right, in that game as well. The 2 assisted today are Simon Long and Derek Keaton. Simon Hooper is the 4th official, and the man at the centre of some controversy at Wolves yesterday, Michael Salisbury, is VAR man today. Paul Hurst, who is not his first ever, has achieved 2 promotions as Grimsby manager, of course. He knows what this club is certainly all about. Here's Gross now on the ball now to Solly March. March goes inside, gets the ball into the penalty area. We've played 8 minutes on the TCO. And the ball headed back to Crocombe again. And it's going to be a tough ask now. And 4,500 Grimsby fans made the trip down from the East Coast to the South Coast. They were waving their inflatable Haddocks around at the start. Harry the Haddocks. Don't think they will be coming back out unless Grimsby, by some miracle or coincidence, find an equalising goal from somewhere. Now there's a chase on here for Ozzy now, number 20, but the flag has got up, in fact, for an offside decision. And a free kick to Brighton and Hove Albion. Simon Long on the far side there, the official there. One or 2 of the Harry the Haddocks. Well, they're certainly waving them about in the last round at Southampton. In triumph and celebration. Well, we've had 10 minutes almost gone in this first half, and so far it has been a little bit of a tough examination of their credentials thus far. Ball not back, and again Brighton just happy to keep Grimsby at arm's length here in this opening few minutes of the game. This is Mayer to Luke Waterfall, number 6, former Lincoln man who's been to this stage before in 2017. Here come Grimsby again, ball pinched on halfway line, and here's Caido to Pascal Gross. We haven't seen much of Alexis McAllister yet in this first half, but plenty of time for him to come into the reckoning, I suppose. Always back with Corkin. And it's worth noting that their top scorer, Clifton, is on 8. There's Roberto De Zuzzi. Has a 50% win ratio, actually, as the Brighton manager. So he's not a bad little statistic there. They had a good start of the season under Graham Potter. Then he left for pastures new and Chelsea. And there was a lot of talk on the South Coast. Would the bubble burst? That under De Zerbi, it hasn't been that way. They've had an extraordinarily good season, the Seagulls, and lying 7 in a Conference League spot as things stand, which isn't too bad. But it's been a team that's been built with care. First Chris Hughton, and then Graham Potter carried it on. And now Roberto De Zerbi bearing the fruits of the labours. They had to sell Leandro Trossard to Arsenal, which was a huge blow for them. But Brighton seemed to have shut that off and just carried on regardless. And it's been quite seamless, really. Here's Webster on the ball now for Brighton. Gets it out to the near side, and it's Gross going down the right-hand side. Gross plays it inside. Good football again. And the 1-2s were played in, and Brighton almost carving Grimsby apart. 12 minutes gone. It's 1-0 to Brighton. And then the ball back, and the goalkeeper Sanchez in a lot of trouble here, and that could have led to an equalising goal. Well, almost in the most ridiculous way for Grimsby, but I think the goalkeeper, in all fairness, had that covered. Here comes Esteban now. To Lewis Dunk on just inside the centre circle. Still inside his own half, incidentally. Webster gets it out to the left-hand side again, and Esteban just gets it forward. One ball there, looking for Pascal Gross, headed away by Waterfall. And that's going to be a foul there. Free kick to Grimsby, and a little bit of respite for Paulhurst Mariners. Foul there on Otis Khan. Number 11. So a free kick then to the Mariners. And yesterday, I watched on in horror and was commentating on Burnley's 6-0 collapse at Manchester City. And then earlier today, every Burnley fan's worst fears when they almost realised when Blackburn Rovers led 1-0 and 2-1 against Sheffield United before. Well, Sheffield United got low, and then a late Tommy Doyle striking stoppage time won that Old Championship affair. So Sheffield United will represent the EFL at least in the semi-finals. And if Grimsby are to join them in that semi-final, they must do it from behind. Dunk has possession, plays it to Webster. Webster checks back and looks for support. Finds it with Dunk. Patient build-up miss from Brighton and Hove Albion. This is Webster again. Gross gets the ball. Gross now will run at these men. There's 5 Grimsby defenders back, and the ball is deflected through, and it will be Max Crokin's ball. Came off Gavin Houlihan. Once the quarter of an hour played in of this FA Cup quarter-final. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Grimsby 0. If you've just joined this delay stream here on the TC Hub and all the other TC Hub platforms. Incidentally, the possession, I should tell you that Brighton have had 71% so far, Grimsby 29%. And here is Adam Webster for Brighton and Hove Albion to Purvis Esteban. Esteban gets the ball forward, but he's hit that with too much venom and speed, and he's going to go out for a goal kick to the Mariners. And currently, it's been a very, very tough, examination so far. But there's a few Harry the Addicts coming out. Saw a few of those. There's a few people in fancy dress there. Looks like one of the village people inside the Grimsby crowd here this afternoon. Pulled up forward by Kieran Green towards the right-hand side. Green gets it a second time around on halfway. Feeds it there to Otis Card. Card chips it out, and here comes number 3 now, Anthony Driscoll-Glennon, formerly of Burnley, coming forward again. Was blooded into the Burnley first team a couple of years ago when Sean Dyche was the manager there. Came through the youth system at Turf Moor. And here comes Atifi now. The ball comes off a defender, and it will be a Grimsby throw-in by the corner quadrant. So, real opportunity now to see what Brighton can do defensively. It's going to be number 31 is going to take it. Neil Mayer, or Niall Mayer is going to take it rather than Neil. It's Niall. I'll read my own notes one day. Right, anyway, throw coming in from Mayer then. Almost in line with the Brighton 6-yard box on the right-hand side. The far side as we look. Ball comes in, headed away by Dunk. And that's a bit of wrestling going on there, just outside the Brighton penalty area. Free kick to Brighton. And any chance that Grimsby had of trying to get an equaliser back has been banished for the time being at least. Important header one there on that throw-in by Lewis Dunk. The Grimsby have packed a punch on their troubles in the FA Cup this season. Scored in their away games. Scored 2 against Cambridge, 2 against Luton in a 2-2 draw, and then they won at back at home in the replay and won quite comfortably as it turned out. And they scored 2 at Southampton. 2 goals that were given on VAR decisions. So it all comes down to the crunch at the end of the day. Caicedo playing that ball through, and then Undav nearly getting the ball through, but then the referee's actually blown up for a free kick there to Brighton to Grimsby Town rather. Fouled by Dennis Undav on Houlihan. So a free kick it is then to the Mariners. Grimsby, of course, a very important fishing port on the east coast of the country. Very much reached Young's Fish and Chip, Young's Chip Shop range. Ball out of play then for a throw. Other fishes are available incidentally. So a throw in then to Grimsby, who have been a revelation in this year's FA Cup competition. The flag has gone up against Atite, and it will be a free kick rather to Brighton and Hove Albion. We've had 18 minutes gone here with this FA Cup quarter-final. Still 1-0 to Brighton. Robert Sanchez takes it short to Adam Webster. And again, the game just being slowed down at a considerable tempo. As we approach the 20-minute mark here of this delayed commentary on the TCO. But here's Webster again in possession. It's it out to Dunk. Dunk on to Esteplan. And here is Dunk again. He uses Webster. Webster playing the ball forward, and it's cut out. Coming up to the 20-minute mark then on all TCO platforms. It's delayed commentary, and it's Brighton 1, Grimsby 0 is the current score. Here's number 3, Driscoll-Glennon. Gets the ball inside, and then Otis Khan turns away. I'm tempted to say Otis Renning, but I don't think Otis Khan is the sort of guy that would be sitting on the dock of a bay. Here's Mitoma now for Brighton on the left-hand side. Now Lewis Dunk has it inside the centre circle. Uses Adam Webster. Webster comes forward. Finds Gross. Back to Webster again. Dunk now to move forward for Brighton. Just pauses for a second with the ball at his feet, and then just plays a short ball out towards Estepan, and then Dunn gets it again, just almost teasing Ozzy to come and make the challenge almost, and tempting him to do just that. 20 minutes gone, still Brighton 1, Grimsby 0. At the moment, it's been quite one-way traffic at the moment. Grimsby haven't made a glove yet on Robert Sanchez, who will try to force him into making any significant save. Here's Stanley March now, who's had a terrific season. It could be in line for Brighton's player of the season, the way things are going at the moment for him. Dunn gets the ball again. Then Brighton just quite happy to sit and just pass the ball around it well, and that's how it looks to be at the moment. Here's Estepan again. Ecuadorian, good ball. Mitoma, the Japanese player, going forward. Mitoma's cross, Sonny March is in at the back post, the back right-hand post, and it's turned away by Green for a corner for Brighton and Hove Albion. But Mitoma's showing his worth here on this left-hand channel. Good football this, played in there. In fact, it was Glennon, Bravo, and Green got the ball that got back there and denied potentially Sonny March getting a second goal there for the Seagulls. So a corner kick. Jared Gillett now, the referee. There was a claim possibly of a shirt pull there, but Pascal Gross, but I didn't see anything untoward there. So it's a Brighton corner. 2-0 the score, 1-0, sorry, the score. Croker marching his defence, and Gross now having a word or two with the assistant referee on the near side there, which is Derek Eaton. I think the assistant was just holding up Gross taking the corner very quickly because of the pushing and shoving going on. The corner came in, it didn't come to much, and in the end Harry Clifton got it away and the ball out of play for a throw-in to Grimsby Town. 23 minutes gone then, halfway through this first half then. A tough old examination so far for Grimsby Town's credentials. Just to remind everybody that if it is level after 90 minutes, we will have extra time. In order for that to happen, we'd have to have Grimsby to equalise and no further scoring. And if it's a level after that, offside there against Danilo Orsi, I think it was. No, it was Harry Clifton, in fact, that was tagged offside. And if it's level after extra time, should we get that far, there will be a penalty shootout. So it's going to be decided on the day. No replays from the 5th round onwards these days in the FA Cup. Which confuses the issue a little bit. I'd like to see personally replays in the 6th round, but unfortunately times are changing in the modern world of football. People are complaining there's too many games. In the olden days, people would be quite happy playing more games than training. Here's Stanley March now for Brighton, running forward, and his cross comes in, and I had a good 1-1, and it was a good header. And it was straight into the arms of Crocombe from 6 yards out. But March again, just proving his worth once more. It was Dennis Undev with a header, looking for his second goal. It was a decent enough header, but it was a comfortable save from Max Crocombe in the Grimsby goal. 25 gone. 1-0 still to Brighton in this quarter-final of the FA Cup. And here is Pascal Gross, started the game at left back. And the ball played out to Gross. He's got Sully March on the overlap. This is Sully March. Trying to turn away from his man. Stuck close to him really well there, number 31, Niall Mayer. It's been a first half really that has ebbed and flowed all the way throughout. One of the best of throw-ins by Gross, but somehow Soy Moskin tried to pick that ball up. And here's Dunk onto Esteban. Now Caicedo, whose effort was saved by Crocombe, which led to the opening goal for Brighton, and it's the only goal scored by Undav, which is giving Seagulls a more than merited lead at the moment in this quarter-final of the FA Cup. And Lewis Dunk again, the captain, plays it to Adam Webster. Webster now gets his head up to see what's on. Here's Ferguson. First touch let him down, and the ball found its way to Max Crocombe in the end. But at the end of it all, Ferguson would have been onside as well, because Tite was playing him on from the far side, and the first touch really from Evan Ferguson was just a little bit too heavy, which allowed Max Crocombe to go sprawling out of his goal and take the ball cleanly. Grimsby trying to get something going. They haven't got into this at all yet. Here's Clifton to FTV again. Clifton continues his run, but the ball runs out of play and goes out for a Brighton goal kick. And Grimsby still yet to make inroads here in this quarter-final. Of course, there's one more game to come, as I said. That's Man United Fulham. It's up at 4:30. That'll be some game that well, I think. But there's also a game, also Arsenal are in action against Crystal Palace, who have just set Patrick Vieira during the week. Just got Crystal Palace out of the relegation picture now. They've dropped it like a stone in the new year. Haven't picked up a victory in the new year. Palace lost to Brighton in week, of course. And that M23 derby. At the moment, there's no way through so far for Ferguson, but Dennis Undev found a way through. Here's Karu Matoma. Gets in on that far side again. Comes off Tite, and now the ball knocked forward. Once again, Lewis Dunk should get there, and he does. And just calmly picks the ball up and almost jogging style runs forward now with the ball. Going up towards half an hour gone then in this quarter-final of the FA Cup, sponsored, of course, by Emirates. Just a quick reminder that if you want to follow the TC Hub on Twitter, you can do via the Twitter handle at Commentary Live 1. Ball not back by Mayer, back to Crocombe, and Crocombe gets it up towards halfway, but Purvis Esteban did very well. Here is again the Ecuadorian. There's Dunk again, almost strolling towards halfway here. It's almost at walking pace here. Brighton having it so easy. Matoma now trying to get each on the end of the one ball forward, but it's out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Grimsby Town. He's some played at Matoma, isn't he? I'll say 8 goals already this season. The top scorer, in fact, for Brighton in all competitions this season is Alexander McAllister with 9. There's Paul Hurst, the manager of Grimsby. So he's achieved 2 promotions as Grimsby manager, so he knows what it's all about, Paul Hurst. Goes to laying the ball back. Half an hour gone then. Brighton 1, Grimsby 0 in the FA Cup quarter-final. Has to be played to a conclusion today. As Otis Khan gets the ball back. Waterfall, the captain now for Grimsby, weighs it out to TT, and VT gets the ball forward. They claim handball outside the penalty area. Well, certainly Danilo Orsi felt that way. We'd have to look at the replay. We do have the VAR, which is Michael Salisbury, who was at the centre of the controversy at Leeds, at Wolves against Leeds yesterday in the Premier League. Ball booted away. Now, Jared Gillett might want to revisit this. Now, if a goalkeeper handles it outside his area, which he has, well, could that be an instant red card? I would be amazed if the VAR did not get involved. I don't think they are. I think they might be here. The referee's got his hands on it. Very hard to tell at this stage what Michael Salisbury here, but it does. And he's calling him over, I think. Is he not? No, he's got away with it, Sanchez. Well, controversy there. Should Grimsby have had a free kick and a possible red card for Sanchez? Well, from where I saw, unless Michael Salisbury was seeing it from different angles to what I was seeing it from. So I've got to be honest, and as a guess, then it must have been a very close cling. The Pagger stayed down here against Undav. And the ball played in there to Gross. Gross across the face, and Mitoma should score, and he doesn't. He flicks it over from 3 yards range. And Mitoma, who scored a cracking winning goal, as I said at the start of the game against Liverpool in the 4th round, couldn't repeat the trick in the quarterfinal against Grimsby. 3 yards out. He was maybe on the stretch a little bit, which might have made the opportunity that bit more awkward than it needed to be. But still, even so, you would have expected Mitoma from 3 yards at least to have made that count, and he stabs it wide. So Grimsby still in this game at 1-0. Brighton fans thought it was there, but it hasn't, and it still remains 1-0 to the Seagulls. Seagulls 1, Mariners 0. The ball comes forward again. Gross was judging the bounce, but was able to get the ball back to Robert Sanchez, who must be the most relieved man, I would think, in the whole of the Amex Stadium right now. Throw given to Brighton. Well won by Harry Clifton. I'd like to see another replay of the Robert Sanchez incident. Having said that, though, the attempts, Brighton have had 5 to Grimsby 0. There must have been at least a couple on target, with Brighton scoring the only goal of the game. Robert Evan Ferguson tries to get something going. Going back to Frontier Brighton now with Lewis Dunk. He's got Webster to his right. Here's Webster now going towards halfway. Webster uses Gross, who's hugging that right touchline. Looks up, see what's on. Finds McAllister. He goes back inside to Gross. Gross again. I mean, it's easy for Brighton to play through the lines of the Grimsby defence, but I will say this about Brighton: they are being very patient in the way that they're building the play up, and certainly the passing is up crisp. It's looks strong in a lot of areas, and you have to say, looking good value. Marsh plays the ball in, and unfortunately, Undav and Ross were not on the same wavelength for the ball over the top, and Crocombe came out and did reasonably well. Not a very good kick though from Crocombe, straight to the grass feet of Adam Webster, and Undav loses possession, and now is a chance for Carr to do his side moving again, but at the moment it doesn't look as if Brighton are budging here at the moment. We're inside the last 10 minutes of the first half now, plus any injury and stoppage time. Toma has it on the far side. The ball is broken kindly, and Duncan again. Taking possession rather casually here. And Gross now gets it on the right. Gross gets inside, uses Webster again. It's sort of a bit the same really from Brighton. Same pattern, the same going backwards, back to front here. But Grimsby not making it easy. Turner has it on the left-hand side. He's got a Petiti to beat, and Petiti came back and did the terrific defensive cover job and got the ball out of play for a Brighton corner. He did ever so well there, and out for the corner it was. Dunks forward from the back, and also too, you fancy Adam Webster as well. Gross is going to take the corner from the left-hand side. It's going to be right-footed here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 back for Grimsby as that corner comes in towards the area. Goalkeeper having to deal with it and flick it over there, Max Crocombe. In swinging corner there from Pascal Gross. Not sure whether that was creeping in, but the goalkeeper Crocombe couldn't take the risk, and short to Gross this time, the corner. Gross turns, twists and turns, chips the ball back towards the far post. Mitoma on the volley. Got it all wrong. Goal kick. Couple of white balls being thrown onto the pitch here at Brighton as Gross had possession. Almost put him off, but in the end, it's gone by for a goal kick. Well, he'll be pleased in a way that it's going to form, but he will not be pleased that his team have offered little else really going forward, which is a bit of a worry, you would think. Crocombe gets the ball out towards the near side, and it's Driscoll. It's Anthony Driscoll-Glennon. Glennon again gets the ball in field. A bit of a risky pass, but got away with it. This Caicedo lining up the shot, and just wide of the goalkeeper's near post, and wide for a goal kick. So Grimsby Town 38 gone. It's still Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Grimsby 0. Caicedo has hurt himself in the process. As he's about to shoot the first time, the defender gets a block in, and then Caicedo ends up booting the rebound well wide. As Crocombe kicks long or kicks out towards the likes of Brian. The ball's been lost, and here's Esteplan to Webster. Webster on to Gross. Well, here's Pascal Gross. Still 1-0 yet. Not exactly been a classic so far. We're just waiting for Grimsby to start coming to the party here and trying to make something happen. They might get an opportunity there with Harry Clifton, but he's lost possession. And already Brighton merrily on their way again with Mitoma. Turning again, twisting and turning and going in and out of players, and here again is the ball chip forward again on Daft as well. And here's Webster again. It's Brighton asking all the questions again, but Glennon does really well. Glennon does really well to get that one away. Going to chase him in first 40 minutes this for Grimsby Town. I mean, there's any disputing that. Surely Paul Hurst will have, if it stays 1-0, will get his troops in and get going again for the second half. So 5 minutes of this to go yet. Who knows what could happen? Who knows what might happen? It's Brighton on the ball now. Again, Ferguson involved. McAllister involved. Matoma now coming forward. Ball play back. Gross shoots and shoots over in the end. Brighton creating the opportunities, but just can't finish them. It's a goal kick to Grimsby Town. Matoma involved this time. And it was behind McAllister really as he struck it there. Would have been his Gross rather. Would have been his 8th goal of the season, Pascal Gross, if he had put that one away. No, that's not to be. On kick forward again, looking for the run of Orsey, but he's lost possession that time. Grimsby have just got to stay focused and stay patient, and you'd think that they might get a chance. Not like handball there against number 4 there, Kieran Green, but the referee allowing it to go on, Mr. Gillette. And the ball's been lost, and Orsey could pick this up here for Grimsby, but he's just played a very hopeful ball, expecting Harry Clifton to get on the end of it, which he was never going to do. The truth be told. 3 minutes almost to half time then in this FA Cup quarter-final. The third of 4th. Remember, it's going to be played to a finish like all the others today. Already through Sheffield United. Terrific 3-2 victory. Deserved 3-2 victory over Blackburn Rovers. And then Manchester City knocking out Burnley for 6 yesterday afternoon. It's the cross from Marsh, deflects from the right, and it's easily into the arms at the near post of Max Crocombe. And Grimsby breathe again, a huge sigh of relief. Marsh there, twisting and turning, and one defender out of another, but it's Crocombe then with the goal kick then. Kicks it out of his hands. 2 minutes of normal time to go at the end of the first half. Grimsby now trying to have a pot shot before going in at the half-time interval. 7th in the Premier League 1, 15th in League 2. No. That's a couple of minutes then. The late commentary of the first half on the TC Hub, JB Sports, Storm FM and TC Hub 2. It's Webster now going forward. Sorry, March now to Webster. Webster with a Gross rather. Marsh keeps it in play. Gets it back a second time. Gross has got support there for him. 1-2 almost not paid off there for Brighton. The ball nearly drifted out of play for a throw in, but Webster's now got it back on halfway. All threaded through around the corner. And the foul end. Is there not? No foul. And it's play on. So we're now coming up towards the final minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Brighton 1, Grimsby 0. It has been a little bit stop-start. Ball played over the top. That's going to run out of play for a goal kick to Grimsby. But as long as they're there, fighting every chance, you think they've got every chance. As Estefan's ball there was way overhit. Well, they'll still feel they're in here with a shout, the Grimsby Town fans. I think you can bet your bottom dollar. Still a few incredible Harry the Addicts about. 4,000 of them are total down from the East Coast. Another up and underish there by Adam Webster. A couple of players went tumbling now, which the referee took exception to. In fact, I think it was Matoma that was fouled out by Ete. Yes, it was a foul there by Ete. Here's Matoma inside the area, pulled back towards Solly Marsh, trying to get the shot off, and Marsh miscontrolled it. And here come Brighton now with number 8, who's Houlihan. Ball's been kept in play nicely there by Clifton. Gets the ball back. And headed away this time. We're playing 1 out a minute, for which we've got 20 seconds of it left. Here on all TCF platforms, this should be the last attack of the first half with Pascal Gross. Finding Solly March on the right-hand side. March cuts inside, then tracks back. We almost played the 1 minute of injury and stoppage time. All eyes will be on Jared Gillett, the referee. And on cue brings it to a close. So, not out of it by any stretch, Grimsby Town. Goal on 6 minutes scored by Dennis Undav has given Brighton and Hove Albion the lead in this FA Cup quarter-final. Place at Wembley in the semi-finals, just to remind you, up for grabs. But the Grimsby fans and the harried Ardecks know that they're still very much alive in this FA Cup quarter-final. We're going to take a short break here on the TC Hub, but after that break, we'll bring you the delayed coverage of the second half, the whole of the second half delay for you, commentary of this semi-final. Can Grimsby pull it round at half-time? Who knows? But it's half-time then at the Amex Stadium on the TC Hub. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Grimsby Town 0. Well, welcome back to the Amex Stadium here for delayed commentary of the TC Hub. We're going to see John McAtee's brother of James McAtee has already reached the semi-finals, as you saw earlier today with Sheffield United. And we're going to see Hunt come on as well. That's a double change. And off comes Kieran Green. And also number 20, Daniel Orsey, has come off as well. So a double substitution then. Orsey and Green off. Hunt and McAtee both on. So a double change there for Brighton and Hove Albion, as they look to try and find a way back into this FA Cup quarter-final. There's also a change from Brighton. Colwell is about to come on as well. We'll get confirmation of who he's replaced in just a moment or two. Referee Jared Durrett of Liverpool, formerly of Australia, will get us underway in this second half. It's going to be Grimsby to kick off. A couple of spare balls on the field there, which is not helping matters at the moment. We're underway now in this second half, and away we go then. So 1-0 is the score to Brighton. 2 changes made by Grimsby at half-time, 1 made by Brighton. Figure out who has come off for who. Get confirmation of who's replaced who as soon as we get it. But what we do know is Colwell is on for the second half. I'm not sure who's replaced at the moment, but here he is now getting his first touch. Colwell. And presumably he's gone off for Esteplan. Looks like Esteplan has gone off, so that must be the change at half-time. Because I don't see Esteplan on the field and looking around, so I think it's Purvis Esteplan who's come off, and Colwell, has come on. So he's playing in that left-back spot. So just to confirm, Green on, off, McAtee on, Orsey off, Hunt on. They're the Grimsby changes, and we will get the confirmation. But if my powers of deduction are right, I think it's Esteban who's gone off, and that's who I believe Colwell is replaced. Here's Mitoma trying to get McAllister in behind. Ferguson helping out at the back there. Colwell gets another touch and he finds Lewis Dunk with it. Caicedo now. I mean, yes, my powers of deduction were correct. It has been confirmed that Esteban, and Esteban has got off and Colwell on. I'm not making this good detective yet. Inspector Morse, move over. 1-0 to Brighton here. We've had about 2 minutes of the second half, and it's almost the same sort of pattern that we're setting out in the second half, as opposed to as well as the first here. Brighton have certainly been the more dominant force in this FA Cup quarter-final. Don't think there's any two ways about that. You know, just to confirm now the lineups. Let's just break off for a second, because here's McAtee on the ball. Oh, he's trying to play it back. Oh, it was number 10, sorry. Yeah, it was McAtee trying to play forward. McAtee 10, Hunt 16. So John McAtee almost involved already, but it's the other number 10, McAllister, using Gross. Gross now, or rather, Solly March, sorry. And March has happened to hit the bar, and then it's been volleyed over by Dennis Undav, who smashes it up to row Z from about 7 yards out. It was Solly March's cross. Think it from the right-hand side. I think it got a bit of a nick here on the way through, which sort of takes it over, looping over the goalkeeper, Crocombe, and then it hits the left-hand, inside of the left-hand post. Could have gone anywhere. And then it broke to Undeb. I had to take it on the volley, on the bounce, and he was leaning back as he struck it. Crocombe knows he's been in at this point when the ball hits the left-hand post, but Comes back invitingly for Undab, and he just smashes it over the bar and into Rose Z, as it turned out. But well, would have been that would have been one for the dubious goals committee to try to pick out in that moment, because would have been it certainly would have been one of the dubious goals committee, that's for sure. But anyway, still 1-0 to Brighton. We played 4 minutes almost of the second half here, and all TCF platforms. Delayed commentary of the third FA Cup quarter-final at the Amex Stadium. The ball played forward and McAllister takes possession. He uses Mitoma, the Japanese international. We've got the winner against Liverpool in round 4. Caicedo lining it up with a right foot, and he's hits it well into the crowd for a goal kick to Grimsby Town. Good play by Mitoma. It's a real good, looks very comfortable on the ball, Mitoma. First time I've commentated on him this season. Looks a very good player. Another astute signing from the scouting network of Brighton and Hove Albion. Their key to the last 3 or 4 seasons really has been the recruitment and how players have just bedded into whatever Graham Potter and Roberto De Zerzi now wants to try and bed into the squad. Here's Sully March. It was a joy to watch himself. I've had the privilege of commentating on him several times for JB Sports and the TC Hub. It's amazing he's never got anywhere near the England side. He's such a quality player on the ball. And a real old-fashioned winger. McAllister, the Argentinian, playing it into the penalty area. Ferguson shoots and he scores into the right corner. And with 5 minutes into the second half, Evan Ferguson gets his 6th goal of the season. And Brighton, as things stand at the moment, are heading to Wembley to join Sheffield United and Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals. And if Grimsby are to join those two sides now, they must do it from 2 goals, from a 2-goal arena. And they need 3 to go through outright, 2 to make it an extra time. But McAllister showing his work. He's not offside, and he takes it down. Nice couple of touches, A to cushion the ball, and then B to get it under control. And then with the right foot, side foots it into the right-hand corner. And there's nothing that Max Crocombe could do about this. Just too good from the Irishman. And it'll only be a matter of time before Evan Ferguson will win high honours with the Republic of Ireland, because he's such a very talented striker and shows what he's just done now with his 6th goal of the season. Robert Sanchez has got a little bit of work to do there, but good finish, good confident finish there from Evan Ferguson. So 2-0 to Brighton, and very good value for that 2-0 lead. As Caicedo comes forward again, picks out Colwell on this near side, and it's going to be an avalanche now from in that Grimsby box. Mitoma gets the better of his man and then miscontrols it at the crucial second and played the ball harmlessly to the arms of Max Crocombe. And it comes away again for a Grimsby Town, or Grimsby can breathe rather a youth sigh of relief. 2-0. Here's number 26 on the ball now. Andy Smith lost it again. And now problems are afoot now. Caicedo. Ball played distance behind. Here's Sully March. He's had a really good game, I have to say. He's had a lot of joy on that right-hand side. Here's John McAtee trying to make something for Grimsby Town. Into the FA Cup for the first time since the 1930s, I think, 84 years or something or other, since they've been involved in this 6th round of the FA Cup. Tite now keeps possession. Now the ball comes away for Grimsby. They need to find something now to get themselves back into the game as Andy Smith goes forward, but the ball has been lost. And here they come again. This Dennis Undavan trying to play it over the top. I think Ferguson might have been offside as that ball was played, but the ball is with Max Crocombe anyway, so the referee decides to play on Jared Gillett. I have to say he's had a decent game. He hasn't had too much to do, Jared Gillett, the referee, but what he's had to do, he's done with a minimum of plus. And they'll probably look at that. Grimsby may point to the fact that Robert Sanchez may have handled outside the box. I mean, we're looking at the replay again. I think it would have been a 50-50 decision there even for VAR to make. I will admit that. You neither damned or you don't if you in terms of a referee these days. There's no doubt the better side are winning. And even Grimsby Town themselves have got to concede that fact. So in March now for Brighton, chipping it in there towards Undav, and nearly got on the end of that actually. Gross picks the ball up, runs past his man. Gross with a cross, turned away, only half turned away by Andy Smith. And then the ball comes in there, still inside that Grimsby penalty box. Colwell to Mitoma, cuts inside the area, shoots, and just wide of the far post. And wide of the target. And behind for a goal kick for Grimsby. We've almost played 10 minutes of the second half here. Delayed commentary of the third quarter final on the TC Hub between Brighton and Grimsby. Already through Sheffield United this afternoon, a 3-2 victory over Blackburn Rovers. And Burnley are chasing in night for them last night against Manchester City, beaten 6-0. As we see Mitoma just shooting wide of the target. But Brighton, it's looking also comfortable so far for them. McAllister now, midway inside almost the Grimsby half. Gets the ball forward, halfway inside the Grimsby half rather, and the ball's been lost. And now Houlihan trying to get the ball out, and Atiyi now gets the ball down that line. But again, Colwell quick off the mark and got the ball back. And attempts, well, a whopping 12 for Brighton and 0 for Grimsby. Shows how much dominance Brighton have been as far as the game is concerned. They've really, and I would like to see the possession as well. How good Brighton have been in possession. They might go another one. Ferguson's through and he's going to tap it in for goal number 3. It's turning into another one-sided FA Cup quarter-final. And Grimsby is almost a mirror image of Burnley last night. It's almost as if they've given up. They may well check it on the VAR for a possible offside, but at the moment, Eben Ferguson moves to 7 alongside Solly Marsh and Pascal Gross, unless, now, was there an offside possibly there? Was there an offside possibly there? Let's see who the player was involved. It was Unde's ball forward, and it was Solly March who may have just got beyond the last man there. Ferguson taps it in gleefully. The linesman's put his flag up. They are checking on the VAR. In fact, the goal has been disallowed. So the linesman got it right. It's a 50-50 call whether that was offside. If he was offside, it was a lib or 2 offside. And Eben Ferguson does not get his 7th goal of the season and his 2nd of the day. In fact, they are still checking it, I believe. Which is why play is stopped here. Not to keep up with VAR these days, isn't it? Well, it all depends on whether the lines have been drawn and all that, but that's very tight, I have to say. It's how Michael Salisbury sees it now with the lines, and I'm afraid I think he's got this one right. I think it's offside. But I have to say, it's a very close call. But if you're going to have legs caught offside, then I think the state of the game is in a very, very bad way. The goal obviously doesn't stand. And it will be, I assume, a free kick to Grimsby for offside. She's gone quite well with the away following down there. It's away to my right. And a free kick, which Max Crocombe will take then from outside the penalty area. 10 yards outside the area, almost dead central actually. Ball flicked on there again, and a chance here for McAtee. And that's the first time that Grimsby have made an inroad. And McAtee, the substitute, the brother of James, John McAtee, came forward. He flicked the ball goalwards, and Robert Sanchez, having been quiet for at least 58 minutes of this match, has found a save out of nothing, a great save. Sign of a good goalkeeper, that. And Robert Sanchez came up with the goods when his team needed it. McAtee flicked the ball forwards. It was the only thing he could have done. Flicked out a right foot. Hope it was enough purchase to get it over Sanchez, and Sanchez just battered it out really with his hand and did remarkably well. Marching possession now for Brighton. Maybe one goal from Grimsby would put this game well and truly back in the balance. We're coming up to the 59th minute here in this quarter-final of the FA Cup. Brighton are 2 goals up, but have had a goal disallowed. But McAtee's just had a chance now, and he's on the chase again against 2 Brighton defenders. And back comes Adam Webster, but McAtee doesn't give up the ghost, and he gets it off a defender. And I think that's a corner. And McAtee there, the substitute, has done remarkably well there. Not to give up a lost cause, and B, actually to win a corner against the odds when he was faced by 2 Brighton defenders. This is it. The Webster played the ball back, and McAtee stole in. And if it had just been a bit more of a better contact on the ball, with a little bit more lob on it, then as I would have thought, Grimsby would have been back in again. There's some tennis balls being thrown on the field here by the Grimsby fans. And now referee Jared Gillette's going over towards the halfway line now to check something. It's all getting a bit feisty out there now. I don't know what he's checking here, but I don't know whether it's security or anything like that. It's certainly not a VAR decision. And there's loads of what I would only presume tennis balls there being thrown onto the field by the Grimsby fans. I don't know whether that's a delaying tactics just to put Brighton off a little bit, but let's see. Anthony Driscoll-Granham's going to take the corner. Referee just making sure that there's no pushing and shoving. He's speaking to 1 or 2 of the Grimsby players here, Jared Gillette, the referee. Now, will those haddocks be flying? I think it's just pieces of screwed up paper. That's been the cause. That's whenever I see it. Anyway, corner comes in, and it's a very poor corner from Glenham, really, straight in the arms of Robert Sanchez. And he's got Undav running away. He's got Matano up ahead. Ferguson in support. So he plays it to Pascal Gross, and now goes to the right-hand side. Now the referee, what's the referee giving here? Free kick to Brighton, I blink, but Caicedo has been hit. Now, I'm not sure what's happened there. He's in agony. Is the easy answer to the question, and he looks in quite some discomfort here. Was it a bundle? Was it an accidental collision off the ball, or was it? Well, we can only speculate, and until we see a replay of the actual incident here, then looks like an head injury. Now, was this? Now then, what happened here? Well, there's a bit of pushing and shoving and nothing else. I don't think the Grimsby player did that much wrong, if I'm being honest. But what this stoppage does do now is give Grimsby a chance to regroup and actually say, come on, lads, we can do this. We can get back into this game and force an extra half an hour of this. Roberto De Souza, of course. Or De Zerbi, I should say. These are the 2 goals. Well, he's serving a touchline behind, but it hasn't affected the way the lads, these boys have gone about it. This goal was a terrific taken, followed up by Dennis Indev, and then Evan Ferguson with a magnificent goal with the right foot into the corner after he'd took the ball down nicely there with his first couple of touches to set the opportunity up. A goal he made for himself. It's going to be a drop ball now to add to the drama. And it's a real shame that we don't have competitive drop balls now. It's one side or the other. Now the referee isn't happy with the drop ball. And Jared Gillett now is starting to just get on everybody's nerves a little bit now. Just get on with the game. 63 minutes gone. We've had at least a couple of minutes stoppage for that incident involving Caicedo. Seems to be up and okay now. As Brighton go off in search of a third goal potentially here with Colwell up towards McAllister. McAllister now just on the left-hand side. Goes in field now to Adam Webster, who comes forward from the back. Rose on to Solly March on the right. They've waited up patiently from left to right flank. Ball breaks inside the penalty area to Evan Ferguson, but he couldn't control the ball that time. Here's Mitoma again, the Japanese international. Plays it into the penalty area. Ferguson would do well to stay on side at that point. That's why McAllister was reluctant to release it to him. Colwell now into McAllister. McAllister again. Deep inside Grimsby territory at this point. Ball not forward, and it's going to be Max Grokam's Gabber again. And he kicks out of his hands. So along the deck that time, and Lewis Dunk had to be very wary of cutting that one out, because if he didn't, as we see an actual seagull fly over here. We've had everything today, that's for sure. Here's Ateti now for Grimsby Town. 2-0 down the League Two side from the fourth tier of English football, bidding to become the first semi-finalists for an awful long time to be from the fourth tier. Offside. Maybe it's not to be the Mariners' day. Brighton were last in the semi-finals in 2019 when they were beaten by Manchester City, of course. Famous finalist in 83 under Scouser Jimmy Melia. Beat Liverpool, Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday along the way. And were a Gordon Smith shot away from beating Manchester United in the final. And then Manchester United the following Thursday in that replay, won 4-0. Brian Robson, Norman Whiteside amongst the scorers as Mitoma goes down. Referee had a good hard look and gave a corner instead. Jared Gillett had a good look at that at the time. Mitoma does roll though, picks it up on the left-hand side. He was hugging that left touchline. He's running inside the area. There is a push, I have to say. Tefti does push him and pushes him there, and that looked a clear push to me. Now, will VAR have a look at this one? I don't think they are. I think maybe the contact wasn't enough for Brighton to get that overturned. So they're going to get a corner instead. And also, you have to look at Matona's theatrics. Was he trying to play act a little bit? Anyway, 66, nearly 67 minutes gone. Ball played in there, and it's off the crossbar from, I think it was Webster in there. There was a bit of a melee. The ball had come towards the far post. A free kick's been given to Grimsby. The ball was headed back from the far post, and Adam Webster took out a left foot from around about 9 yards out and hit the crossbar with it. I think it was Solly Marsh who played it back from the far post. Yeah, he got the flick on there at the far post, and then the ball came back and off the bar. And it could have been 3-0 with 67 minutes gone. But as it stands, it's still 2-0. As we see that replay, or as I see the replay of the effort going off the bar. It could have been an awful lot more for Brighton, if I'm being honest. They've had a goal just about rolled off for offside. It was the right decision as it turned out. And now we've had an effort that's from McAtee that's been well saved by Robert Sanchez. And then we've had all sorts here today. That's quite evident as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Niall Mayer now coming forward, and it's a foul there. Free kick. Foul on Glennon, former Burnley player, by Solly March. Free kick now to Grimsby Town. JB John Stuttard in the commentary box for the TCO, and all the TCO platforms delayed commentary stream. Play goes the kick from Grokan, but it's out of play, and it will be another throw this time for Brighton, which Colwell will take. Gets it back from Lewis Dunk, the inspirational Brighton and Hove Albion captain. Been a tough chasing in the afternoon for Grimsby Town. They've had that one shot, and if John McAtee had scored there, it would have given Grimsby a foothold in this game and a chance and a lifeline of possibly scoring another one and forcing extra time. But as we come up towards the final 20 minutes, we're halfway through the second half. It's Brighton who are closing in on a semi-final berth. The last time Brighton had got through in a quarter-final, it was in very more tense circumstances than this against Millwall at the Den 3 or 4 years ago when they reached the semi-finals. They were 2-0 down after about 80 minutes, if I recall, and then they must have been a ludicrous amount of stoppage time. They pulled one back, and then Solly March came through, and here's Ferguson. He can really settle it now, and he has settled it now with 20 minutes to spare. It's Evan Ferguson again. Terrific finish again with the left foot into the corner, and Brighton and Hove Albion are cruising to Wembley and to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. And despite brave resistance from Grimsby Town, it looks as if the Seagulls will be flying to Wembley for the semi-finals in 5 weeks' time. Terrific finish. Grimsby trying to G up their team. And the body language from them is a lot different than what we saw with Burnley yesterday. Now, was Ferguson offside here in this instance? Not at all. Not on your Nelly. He got away from the defender. And once he got away from the defender here, which in this case was Luke Waterfall, there was never a doubt that Evan Ferguson was going to this time get his 7th goal of the season. Gave the keepers the eyes, knew exactly where to place it. And Brighton now, barring accidents, are heading towards the FA Cup semi-final. Substitutions go on now. We'll get them confirmed as well. There's a double change for Grimsby. Taylor, one of the substitutes, is now on. Clifton also has gone off. Harris has gone on, I think. Number 17. No, it's Morris, sorry, not Harris. Morris. Another change for Brighton as well. Sarmiento has gone off, and Dennis Undab has gone off rather. So Sarmiento has gone off. Danny Welbeck's also going to enter the fray as well. Former England striker, formerly of Manchester United, Sunderland and Arsenal. Solly March, is it Ferguson or looks like Ferguson, but the Seagulls are flying to Wembley now, that's for sure. Yes, it's Evan Ferguson. Won't get his hat-trick today, but his 6 and 7 goals of the season are certainly sending the Seagulls hovering over the arch and down Wembley Way. Unless Grimsby in the last 19 minutes plus injury and stoppage time can find 3 goals, and they tried to score straight from the kickoff, would you believe? It's actually gone out for a throw-in. And for Brighton, in fact, it's a goal kick, actually. So we'll get confirmation of all the substitutes there as we look over. This is the scene over the Amex Stadium, a nice ground. A lovely ground in the Sussex Hills, Sussex countryside. About a couple of miles from the town from the town of Brighton. Of course, famous for Quadrophenia, amongst other films. Brighton Rock and the Pier. Still not as cosy as Blackpool, obviously, but doesn't have a tower like Blackpool for a start off. But the football club's doing well. And replaced by Samido. So Sarmiento and Welbeck replacing Ferguson, and we'll get a couple of Grimsby changes that will keep you up to date with as well. In just a second, a free kick has been given, in fact, to Brighton and Hove Albion for a foul. So Morris replaces Clifton, and Khan has got off. Taylor has gone on for Grimsby. Free kick. Heading towards the last 17 minutes plus stoppage time then. And Brighton, barring accidents, are going into the semi-final, of the FA Cup. And it doesn't look like we're going to have a repeat performance from Grimsby Town this afternoon. Anyway, the free kick comes in. Chested down beautifully by Webster. Webster pointing into the penalty area. The ball comes out again. Webster now, left-hand side of the penalty area. He goes down. The referee was happy. That was a good clean tackle there by John McAtee. And Grimsby, for the moment anyway, survive. Dunk will take the throw for Brighton. Going to leave it for Colwell, actually. Chelsea square off there, and one of the players went down. It was Sarmiento who went down, but the referee again allowing for an advantage if there is to be one. And if he has done that, that's good sensible refereeing by Jared Gillett. Here's Gross now. Sully March takes possession on the far side, crosses in there from the right-hand side, and it was almost flicked on by Sarmiento. Now then, can Grimsby summon some energy from somewhere and try and find something? Taylor got his first touch. Long ball forward, looking towards John McAtee, but he was surrounded by two Brighton defenders. But a lot of averages were always going to come out on top each and every time. Quarter of an hour almost to go here. The late commentary stream of this FA Cup quarter-final. And in truth, it's been quite a one-sided affair. This is Welbeck now. He's through this time. Welbeck could make it forward with a great challenge. Terrific challenge there by Andy Smith. Keeping the score at 3-0 to Brighton. And when Welbeck looked to be odds-on favourite to make it 4-0 there to Brighton, Andy Smith came back with a very committed but fair challenge. And Grimsby keep the score down at 3. As Hunt comes forward now for Grimsby. Glennon keeps possession. Number 17 now has got it. That's Morris. Can Grimsby Suppen maybe try and nick a couple of goals, maybe, and just make this a little bit more nervy a finish, possibly for Brighton and Hove Albion? Or will Brighton be as ruthless as Manchester City were last night and go away with this quarter-final? Remember, already through to the last 4, Manchester City and Sheffield United. And here comes Sarmiento, gets the ball back, but he's been dispossessed, and the ball back now to Grocum. And then the ball inexplicably knocked out of play there. We're going to see number 29 now, Ayari, come on, and we're also going to see number 26, 29 Van Heek. A nice straightforward afternoon for Simon Hooper. Not too much to do. I think it's been a straightforward afternoon in a lot of respects for Michael Salisbury. A quiet afternoon by his standards after the controversies at Wolves yesterday. Well, Alexis McAllister is going to come off. No goal for the Argentinian today, the World Cup winner. And as things stand, he's 2 games away from maybe adding an FA Cup winners medal, possibly, depending on how the semi-finals all shapes out, to add into that World Cup winners medal. As Ayari comes on to have at least 13 minutes of action as well. And you're going to see the end here of Lewis Dunk as well. And Van Hick comes on to replace him. Dunk off, Van Hick on, McAllister off, Ayari on. Brighton 3, Grimsby now on the TCL delayed commentary of this quarter-final, and Brighton have been excellent value for their lead so far. But can they extend it, or will Grimsby try to come back into it and make it a nervy last 10 minutes or so? But or 12 minutes or so. But the foul has been given against the TE there. Well, job done in a lot of ways for Roberto De Zerzi, sitting next to Tony Bloom there, the Brighton chairman. What a job he's done, getting him away from the Wick Dean into the Amex Plus Cup, and then getting him into the Premier League. That was been that would have been 7 goals if Ari had pulled that one off. It was played in towards him inside that penalty area. And if he had pulled it off a hurry, he'd been talking about that for another 50 years. If he had finished that one off, I think all of us would have talked about it for another 50 years, quite frankly. Brighton comfortably, though, you would think, in the semi-final. Signed from AIK in January. Another astute signing from Roberto De Zerbi. He's done an excellent job. Former Shakhtar Donetsk manager, of course. Here's Anthony Driscoll-Glennon coming down the left-hand side now for Grimsby. Can he play that in towards Taylor? He can't, and it's out for a goal kick to Brighton. It's been one of those days where it just hasn't come off for Grimsby, and whatever happens, I think Paul Hurst's team have given it a really good go. They weren't expected as a fourth-tier side to pull up any daisies today. Mind you, they weren't expected in the last round against Southampton, and look what happened there. But I think it would have been an awful lot to ask for them to pull daisies up twice. But what an amazing run they've had in this FA Cup. Started against Plymouth and won 5-1, then beat Cambridge, then beat Brighton and Albion, looking after a replay, and Southampton. It's been some run by the Mariners to get this far, and I think they should be proud of their efforts. And to keep Brighton at 3 when it could have been so much more is a testament to them so far. But here's Welbeck cutting in from the right-hand side, shoots, and a fantastic save down at the near post by Crookham, who turns it out for a Brighton corner. 10 minutes to go, and Brighton looking to add more than the 3 they've got so far. A little chip over the top on the right-hand side by Solly Marsh, got Welbeck in behind, and the ball played on quickly by Gross to Marsh. Now Caicedo back to Marsh. Marsh might look to cross it in this time. Picks up Matoma, who hasn't scored yet, believe it or not. And the ball comes out again. Been very good. Been pretty easy really for Brighton today. Just the one moment that Grimsby will look back on. If John McAteer had just lobbed it over Sanchez and into the net, would we have had a much tenser finish to the game than we've got already? Here's Mitoma again for Brighton. Played back out to Welbeck. Welbeck goes behind that time. Now Webster in possession for Brighton, deep inside Grimsby territory here. 81 minutes played on the TC Hub. And all platforms, Brighton cruising into the semi-finals, where they could meet either Sheffield United, Manchester City, or the winners of the late semi-final. The draw will be made once the game is finished here. Chip forward by, it's a 4-1, a terrific header goal. It's Solly Marsh, whose play today has deserved a goal. And Solly Marsh caps up a terrific performance, really, with an excellent goal. 4-0 to Brighton. Not a glimmer of hope for Max Crookham to keep that one out. And Brighton are cruising into the FA Cup semi-finals now, for sure. 8 minutes to go. It's going to be a long old 8 minutes for Grimsby Town now. Ball. It was a patient build-up, chipped in there. And March onside. Taylor playing him on. Andy Smith playing him on, I should say. And it was the simplest of headers. Simplest of headers, really. And Brighton lead 4-0 in this quarter-final. It's a tough old game, really, when Grimsby Town, for Grimsby, it's a tough old day. And as a Burnley fan, I know just how some of these Grimsby Town fans must be feeling. But at the end of the day, Brighton have cut loose in the second half and have deserved their 4-goal buffer. There's no doubt about that. But Grimsby has shown a little bit more fight and spirit than what Burnley did yesterday, which says a lot, really. But at the end, Brighton have been scintillating form this season. You can't deny that as Houlihan comes off. And on in his place comes Gahuri. So Grimsby now making their final change of the match. With a bit of a collision there between two Grimsby players there, I should say. Ball chipped in there, headed back finally there by Pascal Gross. Into the path of Robert Sanchez, the Brighton and Hove Albion goalkeeper. I think at this stage, if you were Paul Hurst, I think you'd just want the final whistle to go on the 90th minute. Never mind injury and stoppage time. I heard somewhere on the internet, and Premier League, one of the greatest referees of all time, for my money, say that they should play the full amount of stoppage time despite the fact that it's a one-sided game. I think that's a bit harsh on the team that's losing. We practically just want to get to the sanctuary of the dressing room, quite honestly. Not sharing Kalina's view on that one. Ball played forward towards number 26 there, Ayari, but out came Max Kruker, who has played so well, and to have 4 goals put past him in that sort of fashion, well, you've got to feel nothing but sympathy for him. Andy Smith going forward again for Grimsby. They're not going to give up the game just yet. Glennon, who's probably saw some of his Burnley teammates beaten for 6 the other day, but can they come? Oh, they nearly scored there, Grimsby! Terrific save by Robert Sanchez. Diving away to his left-hand side. It was John McAtee again. He could have easily had a brace this afternoon. The brother of James McAtee, who's reached Wembley himself with Sheffield United today. Well, what are we? Well, unfortunately, John isn't going to join his brother in the semi-finals, but it would have been a nice little consolation for John McAtee to take away from today. Terrific effort that deserved to go in. But Robert Sanchez, the real goalkeeper he is, coming back from injury, of course. He's proved his worth again, and still the Grimsby fans singing. They're not leaving this ground just yet. Not an empty seat at the away end. They're going to stay to the bitter end, and if they see Grimsby score, it'll be well worth the 500-mile round trip. I'm certain of it. Here's Glennon, who took the original corner. Cuts in now. Good ball play there by the Bomber Burnley man. Goes down. The referee doesn't want to know. And this is where Brighton could catch them now. It's 3 against 3 as Sarmiento leads the charge for them. Grimsby have pulled 4, 5, 6 back now as Gross takes possession. Infield to Kaido. Now Yaya playing it through, but easy for Max Kruker. 4 minutes left to play. And there's a toss-up really who would get the player of the match today from the TC Hub, and I've got to choose one now. And it's a bit of a toss-up really between Solly March, whose all-round play has been terrific, and Evan Ferguson. But let's just break off for a minute because John McAtee has got the ball out towards the far side here. 2 or 3 in the area. One of them was McAtee, but it comes away again, and away go Brighton and Hove Albion to the frustration of Grimsby Town. Here's Luke Waterfall, who was beaten 5-0 by Arsenal last time he reached the quarterfinals 6 years ago. Ball over the top. But surely that's going to run out of play. I'll run in the arms of Sanchez. So, man of the match, really. Sponsored, of course, by Commentary Services. Evan Ferguson has been Solly March has been magnificent, and on any other day you could have had the player of the game, the player of the match, but 2 magnificently well crafted and well taken goals. You have to give the honours to Evan Ferguson, who's been, for my money, one of the discoveries of the season. The young Irishman who burst onto the scene terrifically well against Everton earlier on in the season. Well, for my money, he's just edged Solly Marsh in the player of the match vote, and Evan Ferguson is my choice for player of the match. 2 minutes to go to the end now, and Brighton nearly there now. Solly Marsh on the right-hand side, raise it back to Webster. Webster calmly and concisely plays it out to Colwell, and now Mitoma cuts inside. Now what can the Japanese do here? Oh, what a lovely back heel that could be. And it would have been another lovely goal for Brighton if Yari had put that one in. But what a lovely back heel from Kahuri Mitome. This is what the Brighton fans love about this fella. He's got all the tricks in the book. Back heels the ball in. The goalkeeper's way out of his ground at that point. And a corner has been given. Would have been a wonderful, wonderful team goal for Brighton, which would have put the icing on the cherry on the cake. Mitoma takes it short to Gross. Back to Mitoma. Left-hand side. Marsh in there. Shot comes in and well held. Diving away to his right-hand side. It was Webster's shot from outside the area. And it was well held by goalkeeper Max Groken. Brighton leading at the break. They've scored 3 more goals in the second half. And are deservedly in the semi-finals and lost by Waterfall. You don't want to be doing that. Certainly with Sarmiento on the scene. Ball played back. Mitoma's shot deflected and inside the near post. Mitoma gets his goal. Brighton go to 5-0. And it was all down, I'm afraid to say, from a mistake by Waterfall. Mitoma's shot took a wicked deflection of a defender. And cruelly for the goalkeeper, Max Crocombe, it went in the side of the left-hand near post. And Brighton moved to 5-0 with 90 minutes exactly played. Waterfall lost it. Sarmiento came forward, crossed the ball back. The ball came to Mitoma and it hits Luke Waterfall, who made the initial mistake on both his heels. And agonisingly hit the post and went in. And I think that was going in on target. I think you've got to give it Mitoma. I'm not sure Luke Waterfall would want to claim it in a hurry. Guilty, but agonisingly was at full stretch, but diving away to his right, but he couldn't get there. And Brighton have their 5th. We're into 2 added minutes of stoppage time. And I'll be very disappointed if Mitoma got that taken away by the Dubious Goals Committee. In fact, it has been credited to Mitoma. Well, they can now cement their mid-table spot now in League 2. It's been a decent season for Grimsby Town in the league terms. Not going to push up any Davies further up the table, you would think, but what a run. And it's a shame it's had to end in this sort of cruel fashion. But the Grimsby Town fans, to their credit, all 4,500 are still enjoying their day. But it's probably a bridge too far for them today. And Mitoma's in again. It could be 6. It is 6. No, it's not. He's put it wide of the right-hand post. Well, we all expected Mitoma, the form he's in, and having just scored himself about, 90 seconds ago, to have made it 6 here. He got through. He broke the offside trap here. All he had to do was roll in inside the right-hand upright, and he just couldn't do so. He took it down nicely, got it under control, slid it past Crocombe, but wide of the post. So we're almost played the 2 minutes. Crocombe's clearance right-footed over the halfway line. Header won nicely. Referee poised to blow the final whistle and to blow the end on Grimsby's tremendous run in the FA Cup, which ends at the 6th round. Well, the League 2 side ran out of steam in the end, almost like Burnley did yesterday. A brace for Evan Ferguson after Undeb put the Seagulls ahead at half-time. Ferguson got a brace, Sully Marsh got a 4th, Mitoma got a 5th right at the end and almost scored with the final touch of the game, almost to make it 6. But in the end, it was one-way traffic. Grimsby did have a couple of half chances through John McAtee, but it just wasn't to be for them. But the Grimsby fans with them inflatable Harry the Haddocks can hold their heads and Haddocks up with pride, shall we say. Despite the scoreline being Brighton 5, Grimsby 0, because they showed what they were all about. But at the end of the day, Brighton had too much craft and too much Premier League quality for their 4th tier opponents. So Brighton joins Sheffield United and Manchester City in the semi-finals. And that's all for now from me, JB. I hope you enjoyed this delayed CCM commentary of Brighton against Grimsby. The Seagulls are flying to Wembley by 5 goals to nil rather. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it too. Take care now. Goodbye.